Hey, if you're new here, my name's Maria, and I had to grow up, like many of you watching, very quickly. So I thought, why not sit on camera and talk about it? So if we take it back to the very beginning, I am the youngest and only daughter out of four siblings, four older brothers. And between me and the brother closest to my age, there's a 7-year age gap. And my oldest brother is I think he's like 40, I'm not sure. So even from literally the moment I was born, there's always been such a big age difference. I've always been around adults, and of course now being the only daughter, the boys, they get along, they do whatever boys do, play with cars, whatever stereotypical gender, whatever. Then I would play by myself, with the dolls and whatever. I've just always been around adults. You think, oh, if my brother is much older, he would have a child around my age, but no, even those around me, cousins, nieces, nephews, they're very young, they're literally babies now. Yeah, just being around adults, I think it just made me very grown. I know even growing up, you do always hear those comments, oh, Maria, she's so grown, or she's so mature. And whilst that can be seen as a good thing, it's let children should be children. We shouldn't be forced to grow up so quickly, And I believe the main catalyst, especially for me growing up very quickly, was my mum getting a stroke 8 years ago when I was 14. Now, up until that point, I had an experience of having, nannies and that kind of stuff who, cook, clean. Honestly, I really didn't know how to do much because it was always done for me. But that's when we were living in Kenya. You don't have to be rich for that. I know, if you're watching from America, UK, you think, oh, nanny, cook, whatever, you think, oh my God, this person must be rich. But no, especially in a lot of African cultures, regardless of your financial situation, it is very common to have a nanny or someone in the house who does all this stuff. Anyways, we moved to the UK, and the stroke was unexpected. By the way, my mum suddenly gets sick, and obviously if you don't know what a stroke is, it's when you get a blood clot in your brain, it causes paralysis. So guys, the best way to describe it, the moment or the day, let me just say, from the moment my mum had the stroke, the roles between me and her, let's say this is me, this is my mum, immediately switched. Now I became the mum. To also add further context, my dad ended up walking out shortly after she got sick. He was a doctor throughout the whole marriage, but that's another topic. You can go through all my other videos about daddy issues if you want to hear about that. But yeah, my dad walked out, so I'm adding that to mention it's not like I had support from my paternal side. He was absent, right? So now everything that my mum did before, it was all on me. Anything stereotypically that you can imagine mothers do, the entire burden till this day was put on me. Of course, there were my brothers, helping out, but even right now speaking, I live alone with my mum. So everything, the cooking, the cleaning, dishes, even beyond manual labor, being the emotional support for my mum, because she does also have, high blood pressure, diabetes. It's I feel I'm not saying it in a prideful way, but in a way, even my brother said, he sent me a text message, I became the rock. I'm wearing multiple hats that I believe I shouldn't have to wear, and I've grown up so quickly. And especially with this stroke, it's my childhood was stripped away, guys. I'm 22, yeah, but I feel like I'm ready for my pension. I'm ready to retire. And there's obviously, aging is a blessing. We're not with that whole ageism, that weird stuff, but it's I don't feel my age because I had to grow up so quickly, all this responsibility. It honestly does feel like a burden. I can't even lie to you. I can't even pretend to be so righteous and be oh yeah, I don't mind because it's looking after my mum, but it is so draining. I remember even in my teen years, people would go to the park or have fun with their friends, sleepovers. But it's I couldn't go because I had to be on guard 24/7. For my mum. Even within this past year, there's been multiple times, till this day, where my mum will wake me up in the middle of the night because she needs me, because recently she broke her hip, because she needs me to take her to the toilet. There's a time where I woke up and my mum had literally collapsed, passed out on the floor. Thank God I found her on time. I called the ambulance. How do I describe it? Especially with my mum's sickness, I feel it's almost giving me PTSD. Especially from that day when she collapsed, I said, I found her collapsed out on the floor. I can't sleep in peace anymore because my room is right next to hers, yeah? And in the middle of the night, sometimes even if my mum just coughs or makes any little sound, immediately I'm panicked because I'm worried that something else is going to happen to her. I'm on edge 24/7. I'm not gonna cry. I'm never able to relax, I'm never at peace. My mind is on 1,000. There's always so much I need to consider. Okay, what's my mom gonna eat today? Okay, are her clothes ready? Okay, the house. Okay, this. Even when applying for jobs and stuff, and then I have to tell them, oh, by the way, I'm a carer for my mum. And we do get carers in the UK that do stuff like, washing her, whatever, but like majority of the thing, like I'm the one who runs the house. And even then there was a season where I was the one showering my mum, dressing her, lotion, taking her to appointments, making arrangements with paramedics to come get her, distributing her medicine. Like there's so much on my plate. I never got to be a child, and it's like, you know how they say time waits for no one? Time really waits for nobody. Like I can never get those years back. The past 8 years, and obviously it's not my mum's fault. I know she feels bad. Obviously no one plans, no one wakes up and no one is born and says, oh, I want to get sick. But it's like if I emphasize like the stroke aspect, these last 8 years of my life, of my mum having the stroke, I can never get them back. I can never go back and enjoy my teen years. Like I just wish I got to be a normal child, if that makes sense. I wish I never had to grow up so quickly. And like I said earlier, people, they do always compliment it and they say, oh Maria, you're so responsible, but it's like I had no choice but to. And it's even crazy. I remember, because of how, I guess, mature I am, how grown I am for my age, it's really funny. This is off topic. I've literally had grown women who would come up to me and they literally want me to marry their sons. Imagine. And I know they mean it as a compliment, like they'll come up to me, because I guess they see how responsible I am, and then they'll be like, oh, I like Maria, or they'll tell my mum, oh, I like Maria, or Maria, do you have a boyfriend, all this, like, and I guess it's seen in a good way, but then also when I think of it, like even right now, it's because I'm literally a mother to my mum, like my mother nature is like, I'm not trying to mother someone's son, like, I know they mean it in a good way, but it's like, I don't, And I've always been the mother of the group. Many people don't know that my mum had a stroke because that's something that I kept hidden. I remember one time some boy told me, Maria, you're so lovely. Your children are going to love you one day. But it's like, obviously he didn't know. I don't have an identity outside of this. Like there's more to me than my, I guess, maternal nature. Like it's a lot to have the responsibility of another human being. If anything goes wrong concerning my mum's health, maybe one day her sugar spikes or something goes wrong, immediately the blame is put on me. I'm not even trying to throw people under the bus. I feel like there's almost no compassion or grace, like, because I get it, people, they do panic concerning my mom. They'll be like, oh, Maria, what did you do? Oh, Maria, not what did you do? Like, oh, Maria, why did her sugar spike? Oh, what have you been feeling? It's like, can I get a break? Can I catch a break? You do realize her entire care is put on me, and I'm only 22, and I don't even mind showing emotion on camera because, first of all, there's nothing new under the sun. Even the Bible says it. I really do hope this video reaches the right people that can relate. There's actually some guy I used to watch, his videos were very trending on like, well, I don't know if they're trending like on TikTok. He's also on YouTube too. I believe his name is like Chris Punasalan, something like that. And he's originally, I believe, ethnicity Filipino, but he lives in the States, I believe. And for many years, he was the carer for his grandmother. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. I believe that happened earlier this year. And watching him, it's like, well, someone who understands me, like, someone who gets it. But it's like with him, it was his grandmother. Of course, you do expect it when someone becomes elderly. But like with me, my mom is not even elderly yet. Like she had the stroke when she was still fairly young. How old was she? 55. And like many people, even when I tell them, like teachers and stuff, I'll be like, oh yeah, my mom had a stroke. And then they'll be like, oh, how old is she? And then I'll tell them the age and they'll be like, oh, because it is so young. Like it's one thing if it was a case that my mom had become like much more elderly, pensioner, whatever. But the fact that she had the stroke young and I was still young myself and I could barely look after myself, and then suddenly this responsibility or weight of looking after another human being is put on me. And it's just a lot, man. It's like every time someone finds out I'm a young carer, especially people in the medical field, like let's say I take my mom to a GP appointment or hospital checkup, whatever it may be, they'll always look at me and they'll be like, oh, like, I can't tell you how many times people have told me the exact same thing verbatim. Maria, make sure you take time out for yourself too. I know you look after your mum, but look after yourself too. And I guess they're right, they hear it, but it's like, can I really? I never know when my mum's gonna need me. I know they say go for walks, whatever, but it's like, sometimes I panic, like what if I go for a walk and something happens to her? What if she needs me as I'm away? Even if there was the one-off time that I did happen to go out with a friend or something, but then I'm thinking, is my mum good? Has something happened to her? Or she'll have to call me and then I'll have to come home early. Guys, growing up too quickly, it does affect you so much. How else can it affect you? I believe it can cause perfectionism. It can cause anxiety. You feel like you don't fit in with your peers because your life circumstances, what you've been through, maybe many people your age I guess they can't relate. So it's like you can't really connect on that level. You may sometimes find yourself in groups with people who are much older, and sometimes even with age, some people they're grown and they're still not mature. But it's a lot, man. Those of us who had to grow up quickly, you have my love, I get you, I understand you. What's that High School Musical song? We're all in this together. And the main thing, if I'm to be completely transparent and vulnerable, growing up too quickly can definitely cause a lot of resentment, like I've experienced. It can cause bitterness, it can cause even self-pity, and even God doesn't like that, like, oh, woe me. But it stirs up a lot of negative emotions, because obviously if it was up to me, this would not be my life. If it was up to me, my mom would still be perfectly healthy, you know. Before she fell sick, she still had diabetes and everything before she got the stroke, but she was well off, she was financially well off, she was doing good for herself, and then she became sick. It resulted in homelessness for us when I was younger, and even till now, battling financial battles. This would not be my story if it was up to me. And I know there's still hope that things can turn around and it can be a testimony, but it's like, I don't know, I wish I had a better story. And the thing is, with the way my story is now, in the event that my life would turn around, I guess it would be inspirational, like, oh, I had to go through all this and then I became great in the end. I wish I didn't have to go through all that I'm going through now. How do I say it? I wish I didn't have to go through so much. I wish my life was just, I wish I lived a blessed and easy life, because I do feel like some people, their lives are just easy. And I do wish that I lived an easy life. I know we all have to go through struggles, but I feel like I'm starting now. And sometimes I wish I could look into the future. I wish I had a time machine. I wish I could look ahead. And sometimes I do ask God, and you could argue there are signs here and there, but I want something to give me hope that things won't be like this forever, because sometimes I wonder, what's my future gonna be like? I'm 22, this is the age where people, they start exploring romance, they're getting married, they're traveling, but like I'm here stuck with my mum, and it makes me wonder, what's my future gonna be? How will I be able to get married if I have to be here and look after my mum? When will I ever meet people? I don't leave the house. I feel stuck. I feel stagnant. I feel honestly behind and backwards. And I can't wait for the day that my life moves forward. Yeah. Another thing on the side, I feel like this situation has given me, I guess what you could describe as mummy issues. I know I've talked about daddy issues. I would have never thought of myself as having mummy issues because my mum is still here. But in fact, it was actually my mum who gave me the idea. But you know what I did? Because at a very young age, I had to become a mum to my mum. So it's like the things that my mum would have done, or the care and support and nurturing that my mum would have given to me, it said I have to give it to my mum, and I have nobody to give it to me. In a weird way, I'm my own mum also. I have to soothe myself, be there for myself. And it's like, I have nobody really. I have no friends. I have no one. But yeah, that was it, guys. Hope this video isn't too sad. I do want to bring more light-hearted, fun videos in the future, but I just had to tell this story for now, and I pray one day I'll be able to look back on this video. Okay, love you. Goodbye.